I want to bring in Lincoln Stocks. He's the president of the Eastpointe Federation of Educators. It's a union in Michigan. And Lincoln, in your district, as I mentioned, Eastpointe Middle School, I understand you guys had to switch to online learning for a week there. Superintendent said there just weren't enough bodies to put in front of students. How much of a toll is this taking on the teachers who are showing up under these new circumstances?
Greg, thanks for having me. It's taken a terrible toll on our staff because, for the most part, they're doing just exactly as you've read in the different examples. We have people that are not getting an opportunity to have their preparation time. They're working double shifts. They're combining classrooms. We have administrators and counselors and support staff all in classrooms in order to put a qualified adult and certified adult in front of as many kids as possible. And it's difficult to be able to fill those classrooms, and it's difficult to meet the needs of the kids when we do that, especially when we're calling for that wraparound service.
Let's talk about the why for a moment here, Lincoln. What do we know about the root causes of this shortage? Why can't we get more teachers in classrooms?
It's not a first-time thing. It's not a new thing. We've been warning folks about this for a long time. There's really three things that boils down to. First off, it's funding. For years, we haven't had adequate or equitable funding. Compensation as a result of that has lagged behind other professions that are commensurate with our education. There's a failure to support teachers with a focus on standardized testing. We're not able to bring in mentorships for new teachers or meaningful professional development, and ultimately a systematic reduction of teacher voice in their opportunity to have a seat at the table when making decisions about educational matters. All those things lead to burnout, and then we add on to it the layers that COVID has created, and it really puts us in a position where teachers are making decisions to move to more lucrative positions economically or simply leave the profession. And that's been happening for a long time. And as you see, it's not just teachers. Our support staff, our bus drivers, the whole bit are suffering the same way.
I mean, I get the lack of pay and the lack of support. I come from a long line of teachers in my family. I've been hearing that for years. We know that to be true. We don't pay teachers nearly what they're worth. But the third reason you just mentioned there, a reduction of teacher voice. What do you mean by that?
Well, there's been a long trend of trying to move educators' opportunities to have a seat at the table, to say, this is where we need to focus. This is how curriculum should be designed. We have a lot of people that are not necessarily educators that are trying to make the educational decisions in the classroom as to how we should proceed. And we take out the opportunity for teachers to organize efficiently and do different things that ultimately just try to cut the teacher's voice out of the process. And people don't feel they're being heard. It's at a local level. My district's been pretty good, but at the state level and the national level, we have to struggle for every opportunity to have input into those conversations. And it frustrates teachers, and they find that students, most specifically, are not being serviced when the professionals that are trained at this aren't the ones able to make the decisions ultimately as about how that policy should affect them.
Yeah, that's something else I've heard for a long time now. Teachers' voices being usurped by folks who have no background in education, telling teachers what need to be taught. Lincoln Stocks, thank you. And we'll continue this conversation because, unfortunately, the teacher shortage in this country isn't going away anytime soon. Lincoln, thank you so much.